Hello, hello. It is Big 20 Day. It is Apollo here, Apollo 22237 if you want my full legal name. I'm here with MC Aaron Ice. Everyone knows him as the global retro Twitch mod and the god of Gilligan himself. How are you doing today, Aaron?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Chat, are you excited? You ready for this?
Oh yeah. Let's see the hype in chat. We're close. We're close. We got that timer going. We're almost gonna hit 40 minutes until the actual race. So I think, as we've all seen, the Big 20, specifically this one, has been super hyped up. There's a ton of runners. We've been monitoring the SRC channel, and there's already over 70 people in the race, and there's still over 30
80 entrants. Already 80 entrants. This is going to go down as the biggest Big 20 of all time. This is
nuts. And like I said, we still got 40 more minutes for people to join. So this is going to be a super fun event. There's a lot of veteran runners, there's a lot of new runners, and we're excited. And we figured the best thing to do is that if anyone doesn't know how the list was chosen this time, is people got to vote. So the community voted, and we got the list of games based on votes. What wasn't decided during the reveal stream was the goals. The goals were decided later. So we figured a good thing to do is just to take a little bit of time before the race. Let's go through each game. Let's go through each goal, see what's scary, see what's fun. And then, we'll go from there. So I guess, Aaron, if you're ready,
I'm ready.
We'll start with game one. And everyone, let's go. We got the pre-show, and let's start.
So when this list came out, we didn't have the goals yet. So this is kind of like a goal premiere for the stream, really, too.
Yeah. So we have game one. So we have Super Mario Brothers 3.
Thanks so much. Good luck.
And the goal for this game is to beat 3 fortresses.
Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, getting that first whistle also counts.
That counts as beating the fortress. So the mini fortresses, not the main stages of each world, but the mini fortresses.
So
the route is kind of whatever you want to do. I think most people are going to go World 1 and then skip to World 4, where there's 2 fortresses that they can beat. But they don't have to. They have other options out there if they want. But I think you're going to be seeing most of the top guys.
World 1.
Looks like most people
that's about as good as I'll do. I got bad luck in the Hammer Bro. He went right every time. You want him, so that's a 2
for sure. And I think some of the things we got to look out for is, once that first game starts, there's going to be a lot of nerves going on, especially with someone who isn't used to doing a big race like this. But once you got a couple levels in, we'll be going good. It'll be fun. Everyone's going to be taking off at the same time.
It all comes down to the
important thing is knowing that there's a couple scary parts where, like, you can have the random, Hammer Bros walking around.
Yeah, I keep jumping too far there, but
and like Aaron said, with some different routes, you could already see some different times based on how safe someone wants to play or what they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, you can play really risky in SMB3. It's high risk.
1-2 peace speed.
Pretty mediocre reward, I would say, but
you
can lose some time with some deaths there, or just getting bad RNG with your setups. Or if you get that cloud and you die, you'll have to do an extra stage that other people might not have to do. So it's gonna be a tough start, I think, because really anything can happen in this first game. But it's a good one to get started off, and this is the best NES game of all time for most people.
Yeah, for sure. It's one that everyone's played, and like so many people have played.
No, did not catch any fall.
What you're gonna probably see is World 1, and then 2 and World 4, and then after that we'll move on to Game 2, which is Chip and Dale 2. So
this is the first game that's never been in a best of Nesmith. It's the only game on the list that's never been in a best of Nesmith.
Yeah, so what we're showing here is the reason everyone is a little scared of this game is the RNG. There's a large RNG factor. There's a trick where a lot of times where you can pick up an item, and if you do like a frame perfect trick turnaround, you can throw like a box for extra damage. But there's other cases that you can't necessarily do that. For example, this ghost boss, which is the final boss of the goal is beat Ghost House. Either he can drop rocks, so you can shoot these little lightning bolts, and if he shoots the lightning bolts, like, you could be here for a while, and that's going to be really scary to get behind because of that at the beginning.
Hey, Paul, I don't think you have the videos muted. Can you mute those?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the goal for this is this ghost house. Is to finish this ghost house. And,
okay, there we go.
All right, no problem. I asked Dexter why this boss is in the goal, and he said he likes to see people suffer. So.
So after game 2, we'll have going on. We got
Yeah, you could easily lose a couple minutes on this boss just from the RNG, just waiting for him to drop the stones. So that's going to be, you're going to see people get split quite a bit just from that.
Oh, okay, yeah, we fixed it now. Hey, this is a last minute pre-show. We were just so hyped about it. We're like, let's get it going. So wait, we got game 3 going now, and game 3 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you want to talk about this one a little bit, Eric.
Yeah, this will be a cool one. I mean, this has the dam section in there. I don't think that'll actually be trouble for anybody who practiced the game, but it has some tricky moments. It's a little scary the way some of the faster strats work. You're going to have your turtles go pretty low. You do a lot of damage boosting in here, and they have a very low health when they're going to get to the goal of the stage, which is to beat the Mecha Turtle, which is into that kind of third area. You could see some people fall in the sewers. You could see some deaths. There are limited continues, and so you might get kicked back. You may even see some resets for some people. But it's a pretty high skill game. It'll be cool to see what people do, and if they want to play safe, because you can play safe, pick up some extra pizzas, but it's a little slower because you actually do more damage if you have less health. So it'll be cool to see what people do.
Yeah, it will definitely be very interesting, and like I said, there's this dam stage that we're seeing. That's what kind of everyone knows about, but it should be fun. And then you get through the sewers, and then we move on to we had Super Mario Brothers 3, and then we're gonna
the jump itself
Super
is pretty
Mario
easy.
Brothers 4. For the fourth game, Super Mario Brothers. Boom, go beat Worlds 1, 2, and 3 warpless. So a lot of times when you're watching Mario 1, you see the warp pipes, and you don't really see much of the rest of the game. And so it's going to be kind of fun to watch someone go through all of World 1, all of World 2, and all of World 3.
Yeah, I think you'll see pretty consistent times from people on this, although it's pretty easy to get a little ahead of yourself and drop in some pits, things like that. Some people might play a little slower just to be careful, but if you're trying to squeak out every frame, which especially some of the top runners, they're going to find that hard to resist to go for stuff. And we have some really high skilled SMB runners in the race. Takate's got a 456 in Super Mario Brothers, and he's done warpless runs. Pool Kid, Arcus both have sub 5s. So you've got people who've put in some good time into this game before.
Yeah, and then like you said, we got Worlds 1, Worlds 2, Worlds 3. Once you finish that last Bowser, we're moving on to another big name game. We got Mega Man. We have Mega Man. So with this game, you're beating just the Robot Masters, no Wily, and it's also zipless, which is going to make it really fun because some of the zips, like, it takes a really long time to kind of learn them really well, and there's people who are really good runners of the game. So a zipless run is going to make it a lot more fun for people that take the route they want to take, and there's still going to be people, as you see here, grabbing the magnet beam too to try and skip as many ladders and stuff as they can, even without any zips.
Yeah, doing it zipless does help even the playing field a little bit. There's some cool kids in this race. He's got the world record in this game. Indy, Old School Richard, they both have extensive play time in this game. So it does help out a little bit, people who may not have as much time to get caught up in it. But everybody knows Mega Man. Everybody loves Mega Man.
For sure. And then, like I said, it's just the Robot Master zipless. That's the goal, no Wily. Once you finish that last one, we're going to move on to a game that it's scared a lot of people. And it's Marble Madness.
Yeah, you can't underestimate this game. It's only 6 levels. The average person's going to finish this game maybe under 4 minutes. But you only have 1 life. So if you run out of time, if that hits 0, you got to start over. So I think it's gonna play on people's nerves a little bit when they get to this point. Some people are going to be very comfortable with this. They're not going to have any trouble. But you start falling off a few times, get a little tilted, you might have to reset. It's not going to be very fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. And one thing you're going to see is like a fast run could be about 3 minutes. A slower, maybe safer run can still finish at, maybe around 5 minutes. And one thing too is if you don't know, there's wands that could appear. And it kind of pauses your marble. You get an extra 10 seconds, which if you're only worrying about finishing, that's good. But it will pause your game for a few seconds. And if that wand pauses your marble, at a really bad spot, you could soft lock the game. You could be stuck in the ice and can't get up. It could hurt your momentum. So if that happens to a runner in the race, that's going to be very unfortunate. We're going to have to keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, always be looking for the wand lottery. See who wins and loses.
For sure. And then, like I said, this is a pretty short run. And then after this, it is the whole game, beat the game. Then we're going to move on to Little Samson. So in Little Samson, the goal here is to beat the game on easy, and there's no out of bounds and there's no zips. Again, so you got to see a lot of the levels. You actually get to see some things that would normally be skipped.
Yeah, this game is pretty cool. I think this is going to be a game most people aren't familiar with if you're not super into NES Retro, because it is kind of a rare game. There's 4 characters in there, but the mouse is going to be the one you'll see the most of. You see he drops his balls all over the place, and he can make some really quick kills. He has the lowest health, so it's very risky. But you'll be looking for some one phase boss kills and things like that to save time. And you can see who he even runs on walls. I mean, look at this. This mouse is incredible.
And we might want to take a pause for a second because chat is informing us there's a chance that we might have had a secret runner just actually join.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it at the end, but
yeah.
I think so we'll talk about some of the runners here at the end.
Yeah. So anyway, we got
what a surprise!
What a surprise!
Speaking of runners, Darth Threads, he is the world record holder for this game, and he's participating in the Big 20. I know he had some EverDrive issues, so hopefully those are sorted out. But he's been practicing and did a tutorial for people this race. A lot of these games we have the world record holders or people who have had the world record. There's a lot of top runners in these games to look out for.
For sure. And then again then we're moving on to game 8 after this, which is going to be Zelda 2.
So Zelda 2 is probably one of the most kind of straightforward. Everybody's going to take the same route. The goal is to beat the first palace and grab the candle, which is the item within that palace. This category minus the candle is actually named after one of the runners in the Big 20 this year, Schmitty Games. Apparently it's his category. It's called the Schmitty percent or something like that. So
okay, I like it. I like to hear that. And go ahead.
Well, you only have 3 lives in this game, and it's a pretty safe run overall. But if you die, you get kicked back to the beginning of the room that you're in. So some of these hallways are pretty long. You might see some people playing a little riskier, trying to maybe die after they pick up the candle, things like that. You can play a little risky if you can get good setups and take some deaths, but you are limited in lives, so you want to be careful. So we'll see how safe people end up playing this.
Definitely, it should be a good one. It'll be interesting to see, basically halfway through, see how people are going to take the game. And then after this, we have Game 9, Chip and Dale. So for this, the goal is all zones. Again, this is another one that it's going to be really fun to see, because normally if you watch a run of this game, you have the any percent, and there's a couple levels that get skipped. So with all zones, we're going to be able to see all the levels and some cool climbs that we don't get to otherwise see. Little forests, some trees. And the one big thing that you're going to see is this game can have RNG in it. But if you want to explain, Aaron, how the runners are going to try and avoid that.
Yeah, you'll see at the beginning of the game, they're going to let the demo play. It's not just because they're waiting on the timer, which of course they also will be, but that will lock the RNG for the game. It's just a quirk of how they coded it, probably for the demo screen to work properly. And so everybody's going to know what's coming with these boss patterns. They'll be prepared for it, and they'll know what they're looking for.
For sure. And so moving on, this is another one that's you beat the whole game, all zones. And once you beat the Fat Cat, we're going to move on to Game 10. Just Castlevania.
So this is going to be kind of a scary game for a lot of people, I think. There's a lot of little time saves you can take in this. They're all pretty specific, and they're also a little dangerous. It's easy to there's massive knockback in this, which you can use to clip into some places you're not supposed to, but it also can clip you right into a pit, and you have to go back. They're going to be using the holy water a lot. You can see just in this little clip here how it stuns. stuns bosses. If someone takes a death before Frankenstein, which is the goal here, which is stage 12, but if you're kind of thinking of it as world, it's like the third stage. If you die without and don't have the holy water, that Frankenstein boss is going to be actually a little scary for runners, because Igor on his head bounces all around the screen and can get a little dangerous.
And I think this is going to definitely be an important game where you might be able to see some of the experienced runners feeling very comfortable here at like the halfway mark. Someone like Tusnek in the race, and just feeling super comfortable with some of the crit strats, the skips, the cave skip. Whereas someone who like just learned it is probably gonna have to play a bit safer. So that'll be a fun one to see. And then after this,
if you want to keep your eye on like Tusnek, SPD Wolf, Cool Kid, Endy, all of them have sub 1130. All of them are very, very established in this game.
For sure. And then after game 10, we're halfway through. Game 11, which honestly might be my favorite goal. It is beat Tyson only. I love this goal. I think it's so cool to be able to just put the password in, get to Mike Tyson, and try to take him out. A big thing about this game is that there may be some different strats, because you can go for a first round knockout, but I think a lot of people are going to go for a bit of the safer round 2 knockout, maybe using some buffers to get like a safe win.
Yeah, in round 1, most of them will look to bring him down his health very low, but there's, the first 90 seconds he's throwing his one-hit KO punches. And there is some setups for that where you can kind of predict what they're going to be if you use the blindfolded strats, is what they call it. But some people are probably not going to do that. They're just going to go straight in and just try to react and do the dodges. It's very dangerous. It's going to be pretty fun to see what happens, because this is going to be, over an hour into the race for most people. So to come in blind on Tyson and with all your nerves and trying to dodge these punches, one of them hits, it knocks you out. I think it's going to be a high stress situation. And if you don't get him knocked down in round 2, round 3 is totally bonkers. You'll probably see people just reset if they don't get him knocked out in round 2. I think there's going to be a lot of drama once we get to this one. Oh
yeah, for sure. And that once you see that TKO, oh, you're golden, and you're moving on to Tetris. I know Aaron here is a Tetris pro.
Well, I'm far from a pro. There's a lot of pros actually who are going to be in this race. Tetris is interesting because you're not going to learn Tetris for Big 20. Tetris is a lifetime of skill and learning. So some people, you'd be surprised how many people who are maybe great gamers, great speedrunners, may not really have experience with Tetris. So they're going to have to play a little slower. While some people are going to be like very, very good at Tetris. You can start on any level you want, so we'll have to see who takes the risk at starting at high levels versus starting at a low level where the pieces move a little bit slower. You'll lose a tiny bit of time if you start at a lower level. We'll definitely see some level 18 starts from a few people here, and I think most people are going to be starting in the 5 to 9 range, but you have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the big thing about this game is to not panic. You don't want that one run to go very bad if it starts getting to the top. It is 50 lines. 50 lines is very doable. People have been practicing this one a lot.
Even Apollo can do 50 lines.
I was just going to say, there's not a game that I've been made fun of more for than this game here. But if I can do it, anyone in this race can do it. And then once you get those 50 lines down, we're moving on to maybe possibly my favorite game on the NES, Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. The goal here is to beat the game. Warps are allowed, but you can only use one character. So it's going to be really fun to see who picks what character. I think a lot of people are going to go Toad. He's very fast. He runs faster when he picks up the heavy items. He can dig fast. He's very versatile. In the NE%, he's the most used character. Some people are going to use Luigi. Luigi can jump really high. He's really good in a couple stages, including 6-2. And if you're playing it safe, you might use Princess, because Princess is a pretty safe character because she can float around. Nobody's going to use Mario. If someone's using Mario,
I want to see who's using Mario.
Off.
Yeah, Mario is the swag strats. I'm gonna be watching. I mean, we do have a lot of runners, almost 100 runners. Someone's gonna use Mario, right? Someone's gonna be the one that wants to do it. I don't know. But yeah, this will be a really fun one. And 6-2, the whole World 6 is just that's where this race could be won or lost too. We'll have to
It's
see.
a dangerous, scary stage, and again, we've got Cool Kids got a world record in this. Lack Attack, Arcus, they've done a lot of runs of this before, so you'll see some people a lot of experience do some fun stuff in this.
For sure. And once you take down Wart, we got game 14, Legend of Zelda.
Now this is going to be the scariest game for most of the list. This is a really intense game. There's a lot of strats involved with it. There's a lot of precautions you can take if you're going to play it safe, but I think a lot of people are going to not take it safe. They're going to stick with 3 hearts throughout the run. They're going to have the wooden sword. They're going to be fighting those dark nuts who take just a million hits if you don't have bombs. So I'm sure our commentators will explain how the drops work once we get there. But taking 1 hit totally screws up your drop table, and they're going to be trying to manipulate bomb drops throughout.
I think too one cool thing about this one is, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of people joining the race blind as well, and I think this is a good example of a game that, like, even if you've never played it, a blind racer could go and just enjoy the game and just go to complete it, get to level 5, and I think that's why it's going to be a fun one to watch. Like, no matter what time it is, this is going to be an all-day thing. It's going to be awesome to watch. And once you take down,
just to mention the goal, since it is beat level 5, you're not going to see anyone beat, at least of the top runners are probably only going to beat level 5. They're not going to beat any other levels. So they're gonna hit a couple of other levels to get the items, but they're just going to go to level 5 to beat it. So that's what level 5 with your starting items is a pretty tough endeavor.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And then speaking of tough endeavors, we have Metroid next.
Metroid's going to be scary too. The goal on this one is a little friendly. It's get 6 E-tanks. So you can imagine there's going to be a lot of different routes you can take to get that, because there's 8 E-tanks in the game. One of the main thing we're going to look out for is Kraid first, and see who's willing to take the risk to do Kraid first. Kraid first involves some wraps where you can soft lock the game. You're taking on Kraid with minimal health, no missiles. It can be very scary. So if someone's doing Kraid first, we're going to want to watch them and see if they can pull through it. We'll save them a minute or two on someone who gets really lucky otherwise.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And I mean, you're going to see me. If someone goes Kraid first, takes them down, I'm going to be spamming that chat with confirmed Kraid kill, because that's going to be hyped to see. And then once you got the 6 E-tanks, we're going to be moving on, and we're also mentioned that you can up an A, so that could help you save some time there. And then after that, we're going to move on to game 16, which is DuckTales. Ooh. Woo. Ooh. So in DuckTales, the category for this is, the goal is beat the game. People are more or less going to be using easy, and then there's no moon clips, so you're beating the moon level regularly. So this game can be scary because there's only a couple lives. And there's no, like you said, there's no moon clip. There is another skip, the Launchpad skip, and Amazon's pretty tough. And you could see people going Amazon first or moon first. So
yeah, you can take any route you want. If you run out of lives, it is game over. You got to start the game over. It's a pretty short goal, just maybe 8 minutes long for the fastest runners. Keep a lookout for Indy, world record holder.
Yeah, for sure. And then after this, we're getting close to the end. Game 17, the nerves are going to be going, the adrenaline's going to be going. Game 17, we have Contra.
So Contra, they're going to let you use the Konami code. So that's going to be a big relief for a lot of people. They'll have 30 lives, multiple continues. So I don't think there's going to be an issue for anybody who's practiced this game and finishing. But each death was going to cost you a few seconds, and more importantly, you're going to lose your guns. So you want that spread. You want to carry that spread throughout the game. If someone can go through deathless and keep the spread, they're going to get a really strong time. We're going to see who practiced low percent, because it's easy to practice and reset when you die, but in the race there's no reset. So if you lose your spread, you're going to be going through with that pea shooter. Some of those bosses can be pretty challenging that way.
Yep, definitely, for sure. And again, this is a beat the whole game. We're gonna see what happens. There can be a lot of trolls in this game, that something out of your control could really hurt your time. You could bleed some time. And then after this, we're moving on to game 18, which is Batman. So Batman, the goal here is to beat stage 3. the boss, which is Electrocutioner. There are limited continues in this game, so even if you get stuck at a point, maybe keep dying, game overing, you can kind of start at the same spot, but it is very easy to bleed time in this game. So some of the more practiced runners are going to probably feel a lot more comfortable in here and could gain some time when it gets to this spot. One thing you're also going to have to watch for is this game is very reliant on drops. So depending on if health drops when you need health to drop, if the ammo drops, or if just points drop, you don't want to see that. So the drops are important, and then the other thing is there's a lot of wall jumps that could be kind of tricky, and if you screw up a wall jump, it could put you in a very tough spot where you're taking some damage, you're falling, you're losing time, and you might start running into some enemies, so that could get the nerves going a little bit.
Yeah, these stages are really, really big, so it's easy to take a few hits along the way, and if you die right before you get to the very end of an area, going all the way back to it, so you can lose a lot of time just with one death, just because of the size of each little stage here.
For sure. And then we got 2 games left. Game 19.
I can do it.
Mega Man 2.
So here we're gonna beat all the Robot Masters. So this is very similar to Mega Man 1. All the Robot Masters, also zipless as well. Of course, and yet again, Cool Kid with the world record. To keep an eye on him throughout this. There's a lot of different routes you can take here. We'll see what everybody chooses to do. The routes through each level can be different based on what items you have, not just your sub weapons, but the items. So if you ride your hoverboard along or things like that, you can make some ladder jumps quicker.
For sure. The item, you have items 1, item 2, item 3. It's going to be interesting to see how people use them. And then, like I said, there's at the end of each some of the stages, some of the cutscenes are pretty long, and so some people are even choosing the route they take based on what cutscene they want to skip at the end, which is actually, it's really funny to me, but it's also pretty smart.
Yeah, every second you can gain is a second earned.
And then we're moving on to the final game, which is the top voted game in this race. Ninja Gaiden. So
now, this is a notoriously tough game. A lot of people, may never speedrun this before. This is gonna be a tough one for a lot of people when they get to this after a long race to try to perform in this. You make one tiny mistake, you'll get knocked back, you'll fall in a pit, you'll lose your spin slash. This is gonna be intense for a lot of people. Maybe not for Arcus. And you got
Richard, old school Richard too. Yeah,
old school Richard. Everybody knows Arcus is a superstar at this game. They may not realize old school Richard, longtime runner of this game. His PB is only about 14 seconds, I think, behind Arcus's. So he's going to be really competitive with that. And so the two of them, with all their experience, they're going to be kind of coasting when they get to this point. They're going to be feeling good. Everybody else, they're going to be probably sweating, maybe a little on the edge of their seat with some of these drafts.
Yeah. True, and I think it's not only going to be the runners that are going to be sweating. I think at this point, chat's going to be sweating. I'm going to be sitting here at the edge of my seat, seeing what happens. Because one mistake, if there's a mistake on the final boss, one of the phases, that so many minutes lost, and then when you get back to that boss, you don't get that health refill anymore. So you don't want to screw that up the first time, especially if
you die to the final boss, you're going back to 6-1. You have to do it all again. And when you get there the next time, you do not get the health refill. So it's going to be really stressful. People are going to be on tilt if that happens. You don't want to be put in that position, but it's a tough boss either way. So,
yeah, for sure. So that's our 20 games. That is the Big 20, number 13, the People's Choice. Like we said, we wanted to just kind of show off the game, show off the goals, since we never really went through it on stream before, so everyone knows once the race starts. Obviously, the commentators, we have some very great commentators that are going to be explaining a lot. It's going to be a fun time, so everyone stick around all day long.
So the big question, chat, who you got? Who's the favorite? Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? What do you think is going to happen here? We have so many entrants. Hold on, let me look at the number right now. We have 98 entrants.
Oh my God, two more. Let's get it.
98 entrants. This is the biggest Big 20 of all time. Most years, there's maybe 2-3 people you're thinking might win. This year, I would say there's at least 10 people that have very strong possibility of winning. and there's you know, a huge chunk of people that are going to get really strong times in this as well. You know, I'm looking at Team Sweden. They're looking really strong. They put in some really strong PBs. Cool Kid, Indy, Old School Richard, all looking really strong. I think you got to watch out for them. And of course, the mystery entrant, Yogi the Monk. People have been wondering all month, is he in? Is he out? Yogi's in, multi-time Big 20 winner. He's in. What's he gonna? We don't know his times. We don't know what he's been doing. What's he gonna do?
This is just gonna be so fun to see. And like I said, it's not about just those top runners. Just watching everyone. I want to make sure, even when this race is done, all the runners, anyone that joined, to just sit back and look at the list. Look at the list that you played, and that you're such an elite group to put the dedication and time into learning these games. And now you know these games. 100 runners. It looks like it's 100 runners according to Julie. Right. 100 runners.
I see 99. I see 99.
Oh, did I get baited? One more.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay. So the important
one thing I do want to say is that you know, while we're talking, you know, some people's goals, it is to win. You know, there's maybe only a small group of those 100 who have a possibility to win. Some people are looking to maybe just put up a good time, maybe get sub 4 hours, something like that. There's some people, you know, who their goal is just to finish. We have skill and practice time gaps, you know, all over the place. So anybody can join. It was open to everybody. So make sure you give everybody a big cheer the whole time through. Give people your support as you can. Anybody who finishes this is a superstar, that's for sure, because it's a big commitment, and a lot of people have been putting a lot of time through this.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting out of here before we're basically 10 minutes away. The one thing that I do want to say is without the runners and without the fans here in chat, Best of NES doesn't exist. This race doesn't exist. So thank you for everyone for letting us even do this pre-show. Thank you for letting us do this race for everyone. This is so fun, and you know, just sit back, enjoy. And let's get this race going. Thank you so much, Aaron, for joining me today. I'm glad we could give some info about these games, and I'm going to be here all day, and I'm sure he will too.
Yeah, thanks, Apollo. Apollo set all these little clips up and stuff. Good job, Apollo.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, chat, let's have some fun. Everybody get hype. I want to see chat going nuts the entire time through, all the way from the first finisher, all the way through to Infinite Mystery, the whole way through. Let's go.
Thank you, Apollo and McGarrenice, for that excellent pre-show. We're gonna need a couple more minutes to set up the restream and everything, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.